Hey guys, this is another Land and Elf battle report. This is another Grail Quest game. I know some of you may be tired of this, but we're really practicing hard because we want to do better than we did last year. It was 2,500 points, and for those who don't know, you are allowed to take up to 350 points in monsters from Storm of Magic or Monstrous Arcanum. This is a Swedish comp event, so you're going to see some weird things and weird numbers of units as we all try to desperately get our comp score higher. So here we go. Alright, here's my list. It comps in at about a 14.7. It's very familiar to what I normally do. However, I am dropping the Glade Riders, who have last game I played showed up on a turn 6 just to do nothing. So I'm going to try 10 Glade Guard with Arcane Bodkins as a substitute. They're only comped a little bit worse. Generally, only True Flight and Hagabane are comped really, really hard. All the other arrows are generally comped pretty softly. So I'm going to give these guys a try to see if they can do a little more work than my Glade Riders who never show up. Finally, I have 6 Trolls and a Dragon Ogre with a great weapon from Storm of Magic. So these guys have been performers in the past. Let's hope they can keep up. Alright, this is the Warriors list. It's a very soft list per comp. This is a very heavily comped event, so a lot of people are trying to get as high a comp as possible. You got level 4. I believe it was Nurgle, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not really sure. He does have an unkillable hero, but it's not a rerollable ward save. It's just a 1-up, 3-up, which I think is still pretty dang good. His general is on a demonic mountain. He puts them in the knights. His core, he's got some 24 warriors with Corn. These guys are frenzied and extra hand weapons, so these guys are helping out a lot of attacks. It's only strength 4, but strength 4 is all you need versus me. And he's got a bunker with 19 Nurgle warriors with shields. This is where he puts his wizard, and he puts them in a tower like on turn 1, and he never ends up leaving. So you probably won't see any pictures of this unit other than during deployment. So I'm sorry about that, but they really didn't do anything other than launch a bunch of spells out. Got some Warhounds. He's got 8 Knights with the Blasted Standard, and the Blasted Standard is really kind of hilarious because he rolls so many ones that it probably ends up helping me more than it helps him. Because my, when my arrows go from strength 3 to strength 6 armor piercing, they just really start chewing up some knights. So that was really unfortunate for him that he paid for an item that helped me. And then finally he has a dragon. I believe he takes fire as his breath weapon from Storm of Magic. Alright guys, here is my deployment before Vanguard. I have some Wild Riders and some Hagabane Glade Guard. The Glade Guard are going to hopefully jump in that building next turn. I have my Dragon Ogre. On that hill, I have some Sisters, some Trolls, and my Tree Man Ancient. Here's my left flank. Sorry for the blurry picture. I have my Way Watchers. I scouted them right over there by the river and by the board edge. I have some Glade Guard with Arcane Bodkins to the right of that little building. A Great Eagle and my Wild Riders. This is before Vanguard, and I really don't Vanguard that much because I'm kind of happy with the way I dropped them originally. This is my opponent's right flank. He has his big unit of knights with his general. In front of them are some chaos dogs. He's got his unkillable BSB that he forgot his model, so that Pegasus will be a proxy. He's got a big unit of warriors with his wizard, and then another big unit of warriors. They have frenzy and extra hand weapons, so these guys are going to hurt. And to the left of them are some dogs. This is his left flank. As you can see, he kind of left it bare, and this really comes to bite him later, but that's just his Storm of Magic dragon that he's given a fire breath weapon. And, of course, some dogs to the right. This is my left flank after turn 1. They just kind of, not a whole lot happens here. I just kind of shuffle around. I'm really happy with my deployment and the terrain on the battlefield. So I just kind of wanted to take a picture of this to show that I really have his army kind of split. And I kind of do this, I like to do this to warriors, especially if I can get a building in the middle of the field. I like to get their army split so that I can kind of deal with their units one at a time instead of having to worry about just this massive tide of bodies coming towards me. But anyway, this is the end of turn 1 on my left side. This is his unit after I get done shooting it with some Way Watchers and some Arcane Bodkins and such. I think I get about 3 wounds off of them. Chaos Hell, any kind of expensive cavalry just really doesn't like Way Watchers, and Arcane Bodkins don't do a bad job. This unit had the Blasted Standard, and I still managed to sneak through 3 wounds with just I think two or 3 units of shooting. So I'm pretty happy with those because that's a lot of points. But my crowning achievement for this turn was I just shot the heck out of his dragon. I put 5 wounds on it with poison. 2 or 3 of them were poisons, and 2 or 3 of them were just 6s to roll. And he just fluffed his 4-up armor save. So he rolled like 5. He failed like 5 of them. So that was really frustrating for him. His dragon's still in the game, but he knows he's in trouble. He doesn't want to charge that unit, and he's really fragile. So I was really happy with that, because I knew that if that dragon got by those Glade Guard or killed them, then I was going to be in some trouble. This is after his turn 1. He flies his dragon up as far as he can, gets right into the flank of my Wild Riders, and just blows his flame breath weapon. And he only gets 2 wounds for his trouble, so I was really happy with that. The shields and the ward save really kind of helped me out there, but it was only strength 4, so I guess that's probably about average. On my left side, he charges my Way Watchers with his dogs now that he's got to go second, and they just stand and shoot and chew him up. And I think 1 dog makes it to the Way Watchers, and they just finish him off, so that was some free points. His unkillable BSB on disc just flies up as far as he possibly can and just immediately gets in my face. Again, that kind of makes me nervous, but then the way I've separated my army, I'm okay that he's focusing on these units over here. I mean, yeah, those Glade Guard with Arcane Bodkins are some points, but he's ignoring my my Wild Riders and my Mage Bunkers. So I'm okay with this right now. And these guys can probably knock some wounds off of him. So we'll see what happens there. His other dogs charged my Way Watchers near the river and failed. All right, here's my turn 2. And I do manage to finish off the dragon. I only managed to sneak 1 wound through, so that was just enough to kill him, so that was great. I moved up my Dragon Ogre as far as I could without marching to try to chaff up that big block. As you can see, that big block starting to take wounds. I actually got Curse of Anrin here, Word of Pain, and then Blade Wind off on them. So not only are they debuffed into the ground, they also took about 7 or 8 wounds in addition to some wounds from shooting. So I've really depleted that unit, and I'm hoping to bait a charge, so he'll just take a bunch of dangerous terrain tests, but we'll see. Really happy with how this turn's shaping up so far. Alright, this is his turn. He thinks about charging, but I kind of talk him out of it because, he's going to take... He's got Curse of Anrin here. He's going to take a dangerous terrain test on all of them. And then if he kills when he kills the dragon over and he overruns, because remember this unit has frenzy, he's going to hit the river and take more dangerous terrain tests. And there's not many of those guys left to begin with, so I kind of talk him out of it, just kind of let those spells wear off before he loses his entire unit to dangerous terrain. So that again, this Dragon Ogre is doing a great job, 80 points, and he's already holding a big unit in place. So again, very happy with him. On the left side, I didn't show this, but my Arcane Bodkins unit actually ended up hopping into that building at some point, and they did get charged by the unkillable BSB. He beat them up, and then they blew their stubborn 8 test, so that stinks. I was really kind of hoping to tie him up for a couple of turns, but they break and flee off the table. Luckily, my Way Watchers don't panic, so now the unkillable BSB is hunting some Way Watchers, and I just can't get a wound through his 1-up, 3-up. Again, that kind of stinks because those Arcane Bodkins guys were a lot of points, but I'm happy that he's focusing on these units because they're really not all that valuable. Yes, they're valuable for knocking wounds off, but they're not a lot of points, and it's keeping his attention away from taking out my wizard, because I'm really terrified of having that unkillable BSB or any mobile character for that matter get into my Glade Guard wizard bunkers. They just can't hold up to combat. Okay, over here, this is back to my turn again. He's been kind of moving his knights diagonally, trying to wiggle around the forest and building, and he's got them right kind of up in my face now, where he's starting to kind of maybe threaten some charges. So I throw the Great Regal up to redirect him. And what's great, I'm in great position here because if he charges the Great Eagle, he's going to have to charge the Great Eagle because he has no shooting. And not only will he hit the river on the charge, but if he overruns and then or reforms and charges somebody else next turn, he's going to be hitting the river. So a river is about as useful as a forest to Wood Elves because it really can stop really fast units. Over here, I just kind of start repositioning. As you can see, he does have 1 Chaos War Dog alive. after I had been shooting them all game here and there with the sisters because I really didn't have anything else to shoot with them. So I'd gotten them down to one model, but he's just using this model to chaff up. He's trying to bait some charges with the Wild Riders and redirect the Tree Man and hold up the trolls here. So he's kind of getting all in my face here. So that was pretty clever on him. He's getting a lot of mileage out of that guy. But other than that, I just kind of moved the Dragon Ogre a little bit, hoping to really redirect that horde now that the magic has wore off. I think my magic phase here is a bust. So the Way Watchers hop into that building right there. I can't really get out of his charge arc, I think. So I just hop in there, hoping to delay him more, staying on stubborn. So he charges in and hopes to beat up some Way Watchers, but you'll see what happens next. He fluffs all of his attacks. Not only does he fluff all of his attacks, but the Way Watchers with their AS always strike first actually get a wound off of him. I roll the 4 to hit, I think the 5 to wound. He fails his 1 up, 3 up. So I get a wound on him. I still lose combat, but hold and knock him out of the building. So I have really just stalled this guy up with the Way Watchers, and I'll get another turn to shoot him again. So really happy with how the left side of this game's going. All right, this is kind of the battlefield. He's after his turn, he makes his charge, kills the Dragon Ogre, makes his charge, kills the the Eagle, and now he's reforming the kind of posture for some charges. He's kind of really starting to get me pinned in a little bit. I still have a lot of hitty units left, but I'm getting a little bit nervous here because he's not far from my mage. As you can see, they're in the little red glade guards at the bottom right of the screen. That's where my mage is at. So if he can get through all these units that I'm blocking his way with, then I could be in some serious trouble. Furthermore, if you can see right by the river in the middle of the screen, I have my single sister left. He got off some like 1d6 strength 5 hits that makes him test on a toughness test and does some more strength 5 hits. I forget the spell name, but he just devastates them and gets them down to 1 sister. That kind of stinks, but I'm okay with it because I really only need 1 sister to do their job. Their job is to chaff, redirect, and cast that spell and do some shooting when possible. So I'm still okay with this, and I really need to make some moves here because I can get in some trouble if I don't get aggressive. On my turn, I do just that. I charge the trolls in to the really depleted unit of warriors. I also charge the sole remaining dog with the Wild Riders, who overrun and then get into the combat with the warriors too, luckily passing all of their dangerous terrain tests. So they get in and mop up that unit handily, and the Wild Riders overrun but bounce off the trolls, and the trolls reform to try to maybe take care of those knights. I move the Tree Man forward too to try to get help out. That's a Throne of Vines. I'm sorry, not a Throne of Vines, but I put the Flesh to Stone spell on the Wild Riders because I knew that they were going to bleed combat res before the trolls got to hit, and it ended up working out really, really well because the Wild Riders, of course, didn't kill all the warriors. The warriors still got about 10 or 15 attacks back, but luckily they bounced off the Flesh to Stone, and the Wild Riders stick around to do some more damage. So got really lucky here that I was able to get that spell off. On the left side over here, I throw that last remaining sister in front of the unit to redirect them again, and then I position my other Wild Riders to get a really good charge if he overruns or doesn't reform the right way. I'm still not able to get any wounds on the unkillable BSV. I'm just shooting it, and just cannot get through that 3-up ward save. All right, the knights take care of the prince. The sisters take a dangerous terrain for their trouble. That's great. They reform to face those Wild Riders. I guess they don't want to get reared by them. So he did get some points off me here, but I think I have him in pretty good position. All right, here's when things start going a little bad. As you can see, that empty movement tray on my turn, I charged into him with my Wild Riders. And Wild Riders just kill pretty much anything they charge. But on his last turn, he got off a very subtle spell that I kind of let through. I really wasn't too worried about it. It adds D3 to his toughness. Well, I forgot these guys are toughness 4, so he got it off, rolled a 2, and so he has toughness 6 now. So the Wild Riders go in, get a ton of hits, and then just can't roll many 5s on the wound. They roll like 2 or 3 5s, and Wild Riders win combat by overcoming arm with attacks. So when you fluff your wound rolls, they can really die. So here I go in, I roll only a couple of 5s. He easily makes the armor saves and just comes back at me and wipes me out because obviously I don't stand a very good chance against all of his strength 4 and strength 5 attacks. So that's not good. So I go in, lose a bunch of points. He kills them and then reforms on my turn. So now he's facing all of my juicy units in my backfield, and he's hoping to score some really good points here. So I am in some pretty good trouble here just for letting that one little spell through. So I guess you live and learn. Okay, you might be wondering what happened here. Well, on his turn, he gets, he had just finished off those Wild Riders. Well, he turns around, charges the Way Watchers, who he handily defeats, and ends up overrunning into the Tree Man, which I'm fine with. Because on my next turn, I charge in with Trolls and the Glade Captain, and between the two, they just wipe out those Knights. Furthermore, I got Word of Pain off on the unit, so that didn't help. He was able to not really get any wounds back on me. So he lost combat by about 4 or 5, and then he ends up breaking. I run him down. That's his general, so I just get a ton of points off of him here. And the only thing he has left is his Mage Bunker in the tower and his unkillable BSB. So this game just quickly made a turning point. Alright, here's the final thing of the game. He gets his final turn. He charges into the Tree Man, hoping to maybe get lucky. He does have a Flaming Sword on the BSB. And he does get another Magic Missile off on the Wild Riders at the top of the screen, but I do manage to keep one alive, so I keep those points. He is unable to either kill or break Tree Man, and so again he doesn't get any points there. So this is the final shot of the game. All right, final score is an 1830 to 914 Wood Elf win. After comp factors in, I think he gets an additional 100 points, so it would be 1830 to 1014. So it'd be a pretty heavy win. I think maybe with the 20-0 system, it may be considered a soft loss. I'm not real sure. I have to do the math. But final thoughts. He kind of learned how to use chaff throughout this game. He threw his dogs at my Way Watchers from the get-go with charges, and they just evaporated the shooting. Well, after all was said and done, he had one dog left, which he then used to delay Wild Riders and bait frenzies for 2 or 3 turns. So that one little dog ended up doing more than all of his chaff combined. So I think he really learned a lesson here. I think a lot of people can learn a lesson here that don't charge with your chaff unless you can win, unless you can definitely win. They're just too valuable elsewhere as redirectors, frenzy baiters, speed bumps, stallers, whatever. They have a lot of good purposes, so don't just throw them away. Also, Wood Elf shooting is just brutal. I mean, I killed up just tons and tons of models in his unit. Dangerous Terrain and Magic helped out a lot, but when it was all said and done, shooting did more damage than anything else in the entire game. So Wood Elf shooting is brutal, even versus 1-up and 3-up armor saves. So these guys, I'm really happy with the Wood Elf shooting, and I can see a lot of the people kind of being unnerved in the meta shifting because of it. It's very good. Also, forests are great, but rivers are your friend too. They keep people from marching, and they also work great with Curse of Anduin here. No cavalry unit wants to charge through a river, much less with Curse of Anduin here on them. They're going to just lose too many models. They're going to die on 1s and 2s twice. So, I mean, I don't know what the math is on that, but that looks like you lose like 2/3 of your unit just from charging, but I'm not real sure. Finally, and this is a strategy I like to do a lot, and that's partition your resources. And I know a lot of there are armies out there with low leadership, like Empire and Orcs and Goblins can't do this because they just need their leadership bubbles so much. But if you have some soft, squishy units, a lot of times you can keep the attention away from those guys with a couple of mediocre units that you could stand to lose. And I use that to a lot of effect with the Way Watchers, some Glade Guard, and a Great Eagle on the left flank. That was enough to get enough attention of my opponent to buy me like 4 turns before I had to start dealing with some really strong units. So I will continue to use that strategy, and I feel like I've used that strategy a lot before, but it's really brutal versus warriors as they just don't have a lot of models on the board to send around killing stuff. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.